half white, half orange, so tried to be neutral. I think I did a better job calling sacks, but it's kind of hard to just can't really win. It's tough. So it's like being a referee out there. Got a little more respect for those guys. But anyway, fun day. I really thought it'd be competitive, and it was. A few missed opportunities offensively, some big competitive plays defensively, with a great finish by Bubba McAtee, at the end there. So just a fun game, and had some good situational stuff, come up as well. But again, it's been a competitive spring. We've been a very incomplete team this spring, obviously with a lot of these guys that have been out. But the guys that were able to go through spring, I'm really pleased and proud of just the work. We're a work in progress, but we improved, and that was the main thing. Put it, especially offensively, to get a foundation in, to improve and get better, and we were able to do that. And we had a lot of young guys, and some guys that maybe are going to have bigger roles this year, get some really meaningful work this spring as well. So, again, unbelievable crowd. It was just so cool to have 50,000+ or whatever it was here to see us. I really appreciate our fans. I mean, I know it's not like that everywhere, so I appreciate our fans coming out, and it's big to give us that type of feeling for these guys to have to go out there and play and compete in. So again, a lot of fun, and looking forward now to, just got a lot of meetings with our players coming up these next couple weeks, and kind of equipping them with what they need to know to, as we call, transform this summer as we enter in the second phase of this 2023 journey. So, a lot of work to do this summer, but I think, again, next time we're back on the field come August, and we'll be a lot more complete football team, and a lot of guys that I think will be hopefully the best version of themselves that we've seen since they've been here. Whether that's a Tyler Davis going into his last year, or that's a Peter Woods who got here in January, or a Vic Burley or a Noble Johnson, whoever it is, if they'll just be the best version of themselves that we've seen since they got here, they get better, we get better, and I think we'll have a chance to be a really, really good team.
Will Shipley just precautionary?
Yeah, he's just had some knee tenderness. He's practiced most, he scrimmaged some too, and then just the last week or so he's battled a bunch of tendonitis in that knee area. So he's done all the team stuff except for the last week or so, but we didn't scrimmage him last week or today. Just kept him out of the live stuff, from a precaution.
We've heard about those mid-year enrollees,
yeah.
And today Peter Woods is throwing people around. Khalil Barnes almost killed somebody, had a pick six. Is this what you guys have seen all spring out of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, those guys, it's a really good class. Again, T.J. Parker, Burley, you saw Steph Island, and Peter, those guys, all four have been really good additions. And they've also really benefited. I mean, there's no Luke, there's no Peyton Page. Kate Part had to miss some. Trey Williams is out. And, every one of those guys I just mentioned is going to play on Sunday one day. Every one of them. And so they've been out. And so it's really allowed those guys to kind of speed their process up. That's been a real plus for them. And they took full advantage of it. And that's what you want to see guys do. Jamal and D. Jamal made a play today, and D's had a great spring. And then there's young DBs. Shelton Lewis has shown up and been consistent all spring long. Khalil, same thing. What you saw today is kind of who he's been all spring. And then not just those guys, but the guys that were here last year. A guy like Kylan Griffin, who we were able to redshirt. T.J. Dudley. I mean, we've just got a Colin Sadler, a guy that was able to redshirt. Those guys are making a jump. But those mid-years have been exceptional. Noble, it's been moving really fast for him, but he's gotten better and better and better, and this was huge for him to get out here in this environment and just realize, okay, it's still just football, and just a couple mistakes, but he made some strides. And Harris Sewell, what he's been all spring camp has been awesome. I mean, and just keep going. I mean, all of those guys, I'm not disappointed with anybody. Josh Sapp, a guy we were able to redshirt, who's really going to help our team. Across the board, I think last year's class that we signed, club class, and this class that just came in, this is top to bottom. I think two real complete groups. So I'm excited about what we've got a chance to do with them.
What's Coach on the summer to-do list for Tristan Lee?
Just continue just continue the track he's on. I mean, Paul Hogan really kind of handles him and has his hands all over. He does a great job with it. But just continue. Don't change anything. I mean, he's a grinder. He's got a plan every day, every week, every month. And so just continue to make that progression and build on what he did. I mean, he'll come into August with sky-high confidence because of what he did this spring. And with Tate and Parks out all spring, it really just allowed him to settle in. And you know, his effort's amazing. And anytime you are a great effort guy, you usually at some point become consistent and confident. And that's what I've seen with Tristan. He's just put great effort in, and his consistency and his confidence is the best it's been since he's been here. So continue to get stronger. Continue to on that body composition that he's been working on. Continue with his flexibility. Continue with his footwork and fundamentals and technique. So all the things that he does every day, just keep going. And if he does, he's going to keep getting better.
Coach, we see a lot of programs do 1s versus 2s in the spring game, kind of trying to, build the program up. You had the best versus the best today. Talk to us about your decision-making process with that.
Yeah, we usually have a version of that.
Mm-hmm.
Usually what we do is if this team gets the left tackle, this team gets the right tackle, this team gets the left guard. And so it's usually pretty much good on good always, even though we split it. But this year, we were just missing some key guys in that defensive line and in the offensive line. So, with a new quarterback, new coordinator, we just wanted to kind of get what we thought were the best 11 on offense and the best 11 on defense of what's available. And then we just kind of broke everybody else up as even as we possibly could. So we tried to put our best 11 on offense and our best 11 on defense. And so it was pretty much, ones on ones all day. But like I said, typically we still kind of have that, but we just tried to keep we only had 4 scholarship receivers, so we tried to keep Speck, Cole, and Antonio to just create a little bit of continuity with Cade, and then also, the best that we have on that offensive line. We had a couple guys that we might have kept over, like Trent Howard might have stayed over, but Putnam was in his brother's wedding today, and so he wasn't here, so both of those guys had to snap. So, but it was a good day, a really good day, and if Shipley had been able to go on, we'd have had he and Shipley, and then we'd have had probably Keith on the other team. So, good work by both groups.
Coach, I asked you at last year's spring game that the incoming freshman class kind of were trial by fire with the fill-ins and spots. This year, the freshman class looks like they're on fire just with their performance. How do you describe kind of last year's spring game with the incoming freshman class, early enrollees and incoming freshmen to this year's, as far as talent-wise and just performance on the spring games?
Yeah, well, I think I have to go back and look, but this is a lot of mid-years. I think it's the most we've had in a while, 15 of them. So a lot of guys, plus Strecco's in here, and then I don't know if Paul Tyson counts in that. I think there were 17 guys actually, and obviously Paul couldn't go. We were still dealing with the thumb, but. You get that amount of guys in here, it's just invaluable for them to be able to get the type of work that they got this spring. So I think that bodes well for us. And we got a bunch of those guys that still yet to be here. I think we got maybe 12 guys coming in the summer, 10 or 12 guys, and there's a lot of dudes that still aren't here, like Jebway and Hoffler. Got those 2 big tight ends. We got 3 receivers, and Tink and Tyler Brown and Ronan coming in here to add on with Bo and Adam and Stellato and Will, who were out all spring. So we got a lot of guys that'll still be showing up that we're excited about. We still got Robert Billings coming in at safety, Strozier, Avion Terrell at corner. I mean, there's a good group of guys that will have a chance. And if you look back last year, you saw a guy like Woodhouse. He got here in June. A lot of these guys. So they still got plenty of time to be ready to help our team. But these guys that were here this spring certainly, I think, took full advantage of the opportunity to get better.
Again, a very incomplete team on offense. How do you evaluate Cade, how he played today? Obviously some big plays, but a couple of things there.
Yeah, well, he made some great off-schedule plays and extends play. That's what you that's what I love to see. All the rest of it will come together the way it needs to, but a couple tough breaks. That was a great play by Nate. The ball's right on the money, and it's we kind of played a little short instead of played. At worst, it needs to be incomplete, but we were kind of tight to the body, and Nate reached around. Tips are supposed to be picks, and And then what a great, I think Jamal maybe got his hand on the one ball. It was a bang play down there. And, Mickens came up one when Kuba came up one. So he did a heck of a job. But what you love about him is, man, he can extend. I mean, he can really turn, 2.8 seconds into 8-9 seconds. And it's just hard, when you have a guy that can do that when he's really live. But he's had a great spring for sure, a really good spring, and I'm pleased with what we've been able to get in. And so it's being incomplete. Yes, we know that, but we've still been able to get everything installed. We've still been able to lay a good foundation, and it's gonna come together nicely. I really believe that.
Looked like Quadzilla had a fun game.
What's that?
Looked like Quadzilla had a fun game today.
Man, he did. I'm glad y'all got a chance to see him. He's a big, thick kid, but man, he's loose in the hips. And he's got great vision, and he's downhill. He's a patient runner. He really understands how to run the ball, and I mean, he can help us. Obviously we got two stallions in Big Phil and Ship, but and man, how about Phil today? Man, what a Makuba. That's a lesson from Makuba. You can't knock those big guys down. You gotta wrap them up. No shame in holding on for the cavalry to get there, but I mean, we've got some really good weapons there, and Dominique has shown that he can be a very dependable guy for us. And then Keith Adams did some good stuff. So it's good to see those guys. And obviously we'll get Jay Haynes and we'll get Jarvis in here this summer as well and continue to build that down.
The players were talking about the freshmen that have come in. They said they've just kind of changed the culture, actually, and really brought some energy. Yep. What do you make of them, and what can they provide as you guys kind of take a shift here with the new offense and just taking that next step as your guys' program continues to develop?
Well, I mean, that's just college football. I mean, you have turnover every year, and that's why it's so important that you recruit well. Guys that fit your culture, guys that are going to be guys that love football. I mean, I think that's the only thing. These guys love football. One thing about this class that we just signed, it's probably the closest signing class that maybe we brought in. When I say close, I'm talking about these guys were truly like, I mean, a group chat, all that stuff, all year. I mean, just unbelievably close group, and I've seen that just carry into, everything they've done this spring. They're about their business. These guys came here to win a national championship. I mean, that's just, and I love that about them. They have high goals. They believe in themselves. They're really talented. They all have good self-awareness and know that they have a lot of work to do. They're eager to be coached. They're incredibly coachable, and that they really do listen. I mean, they responded in all the areas of the program. So when you have a group that's talented like that, that's really just full of energy and bought in, because there's strength in numbers, a lot of them. I mean, it's not like 3 guys showed up here. There's 15 guys. And that's, you can't help but grab some enthusiasm from that, and it's very contagious. So it's been fun.
It says a lot about your older guys too, though, that they can see that.
Oh yeah.
And embrace it rather than be like, listen, pipsqueak,
No.
because that kind of stuff can happen too in a locker room. And so it says something about the guys you also have in the locker room too.
Absolutely, and that's just the culture that we have here. I mean, you got guys like Tyler Davis. I mean, you got 7 of those guys who came back for 5th and 6th years that, for extra eligibility, and game knows game. And bull crappers know bull crappers as well, and so these guys. This is a mature group. We've got it's a good mixture of some really savvy, experienced dudes, and some really just, eager, enthusiastic, young, talented guys that just can't wait to go compete. And the one thing about those young guys is they haven't come in here with an arrogance. They haven't come in here with this mentality that hey, they're supposed to play or whatever. They've just jumped in line, but they don't take a back seat. And that's what I like about them. And they're just, this group, there's a lot of natural leaders in this group. And these older guys that have been in this program, they know who they are, and they respect it. So it's really good. It's not just that group. I mean, that sophomore group, a guy like Cade, I mean, those guys see that. And then that junior group, Shipley, Maffa, Trotter, Carter, that's a pretty good group, all through there as well. Brenny, it's a talented group, but a bunch of guys that I think, got some good leaders in it.
Did you like how your second team offensive line sort of sometimes move those guys off the ball a little bit?
Yeah, it was fun. You know, they're out there competing. And again, I think we only had 4 D tackles in the game today. So Peter Woods had to play about every snap, every team. But, you know, they did a really good job, you know, and it was fun to see Dominique in particular, you know, kind of find some of those gaps and you know, punish some of those tackles. But I thought for the most part, I'm anxious to watch the tape because, again, especially with the young guys, and see how, you know, guys like Big Zach, Big Ian, he had to miss the last scrimmage, so get him back. Mitchell Mays had to miss a little time. It's his first scrimmage, and since we got back from break as well. So good to see all of those guys get some good work.
With spring done now, what kind of unanswered questions or concerns do you have that you want to get resolved, you know, in the fall or
Just got to get healthy. We got to get everybody back. That's the biggest thing. Just get complete. And we're not far from there. I mean, you know, again, everybody that's been out has been just lingering stuff and postseason stuff that, like, Root could probably play today. And I asked him, how you fix that? I can play today. And I mean, that's great. You know, so if we were starting spring ball next week, he probably would have had a different deal. But the timing of things and where we are, you know, like J. Lou, we knew we had to do surgery on him, but he got 7 practices in, and then we did the surgery because we wanted to get half of it in. You know, Sheridan, JP, Venables, I mean, Trey, Rook, XT, you know, all the guys, you know, Adam, Bo, Stamato, so they're all doing really, really well. So that's the main thing, just complete our team so that we can go put it all together on the field.
It's just to clarify on Venables, what's the reason he's been out the last 1 week?
It's just hammy. He's just been battling that hamstring.
And Miles Oliver, is that something new or is he?
That's it. That was probably, I don't know, first week of spring. He was a spring injury, but you know he'll be back at some point. But he was an early spring. I think he might be him, and we had a walk-on kid that got hurt. Probably our only major spring injuries.
I guess Peter Woods, we talked a lot about him. If he's a plug-and-play guy, how close is Stefan Green to being somebody to be in that mix?
Not far. You know, he's not ready to play multiple positions yet, like Peter. And I think Peter can play anywhere. Literally, I think he can play end. I think he can play 5 technique. I think he can play 3. I think he can play nose. I think he can play anywhere, and I think mentally he's ready for that. Steph Island is explosive. He loves football. He's tough as they come, and he's still grabbing on to the totality of the defense. It's probably the biggest difference right now. Is just I think Peter's a little bit more, could go play. And, Steph body type